Ooh, yeah. The weather is cool. Got a little rain today. It's perfect weather for clam chowder. Not just any clam chowder, but the garden fresh clam chowder. Got all kinds of vegetables in here. It's actually halfway healthy, believe it or not. There's no bacon in it, but we got the other good stuff in it. So I hope that you'll come inside with me and learn how to make it. Come on. Okay, so we've got all these great vegetables ready for our clam chowder. And the first thing I'm going to do is prepare the leek. Now don't get freaked out. It's not going to be that bad. Marit Cam showed me how to do this earlier. So it's not that bad. You're just going to prepare it. And the best thing to do with that is just go ahead and start cutting your leek. And literally, you're just going to cut it like this. Hopefully I'm doing it right, Marit. So far, beautiful, she says. Oh, good. Cutting it off kind of at an angle there. See that angle that we just made? That's the way you do it. Discard that. Take off that. And then we're just going to start. I'm going to get rid of everything I don't want now. And then you'll cut it right down lengthways. And the reason we're doing this is because we're going to make sure that we don't have any sand or grit or gravel, because a leek grows a lot like a green onion. It's in the ground. So we want to get all the sand out. Some of them are cleaner than others, but let's just not take a chance. So once we've made that one slit, then start cutting it this direction. And so far we don't have too many surprises here, thank God. But we've got a nice, oh, beautiful leek for us today. Okay, so that's about all we're going to need for our clam chowder. So then we're going to put this directly into a bowl. And we're going to let those just soak in the bowl a little bit, just enough to get any kind of, again, any kind of dirt or sand or any grit that's in there that we don't want. And I've actually got a handful that I've done already, along with some of these other nice vegetables that we're going to be using today for our clam chowder. Now, why don't we do this? I'm going to actually bring the pan right over. We got a 4-quart saucepan. Ooh, shouldn't do that too much or it might get a little hot. And I'm just going to throw these in. It's just throwing them in. It's really easy. Put a little light olive oil first. A little light olive oil. So just enough to cover the bottom. And make sure that heats up a little bit. You'll be doing this right in your stove, so it'll be all right. And we'll go ahead and start, first of all, with our, oh yes, garlic. Okay, we've got the garlic. And then we're going to put a little shallots in here. A little bit of shallot. Fresh, chopped up shallots. Ooh, everything you need, right? Gotta love it. And then also I've got some, just the, chopped up, just the green part of a green onion. Some people call them scallions. It's just this part. That's the part I cut up right there. So you throw that in. So we get that going first. Then our leeks. Oh yeah, they're clean and nice. We got some great color going on. It's just a beautiful, beautiful start to this clam chowder today. Throw in our diced red pepper. Diced red pepper. And then we're going to throw in wild mushrooms, some wild mushrooms that we found. Now you can use just about any mushroom that you want to use. Don't worry about it too much. I'm going to put in some dried rosemary at this point, and then our celery. Okay? And just, all you're going to do is just stir that up and you're in good shape. So we'll just add a little salt to that, and then I'm going to put that right on the burner. And we're going to saute this for about 3 to 5 minutes until those mushrooms soften. So we'll let that go. And then now what we need to do is we need to think about thickening this clam chowder. Normally we have various ways of thickening clam chowder. We can use a little bit of flour and water, cornstarch and water. Some people actually put in cream of celery soup. If you want to do that, that's cool. But I don't like all the preservatives and sodium that come with the soup. So let's find our own way, right, of thickening our soup. So what you're going to use also, another ingredient in this recipe, are potatoes. And what I've done is I've just taken a bunch of red potatoes. And red potatoes I like using. You can also use the Yukon Gold potatoes. It's a little bit more of a dense meal, if you will. And this is the red potato here that I've used. And I've cooked up probably about 6 of them. So I'm going to take about a cup of those, or thereabouts. Just enough to create our thickening agent. So what you'll want to do, and don't worry that you've got your, how we've kept the skins on there, the red skins. Don't worry about that. Just go ahead and mash these really nicely. And if you want to put these in a food processor or a blender and puree them, you can do that too. I'm just going to use my fork right now and just get them mashed up real nicely. And then I'm going to add a little bit. I've got a little half and half, yeah. That's preview of things to come. We're going to have a little half and half going on. Put a little bit of half and half in here just to kind of thin it a little bit more. And then you'll just literally, you're just going to do this until you get a nice paste, really. Just a paste that is going to thicken our sauce, okay? About like that. So we'll put that over to the side real quick here, and then I'm going to check on my, go ahead and check on my, and yes, my vegetables are done, and when they get to the point where they're done, or wilted as I say, you're going to add a cup of dry white wine. Now, Mark Cams, what do you think is a good dry white wine?
Sauvignon Blanc.
Sauvignon Blanc. So a Sauvignon Blanc is a good dry white wine. Don't spend a ton of money on it. And then go ahead and put that right back on the heat. And that's going to cook down. We're going to let that cook down just until the wine is cooked a little bit out, about 2 minutes, till the alcohol is cooked out, about 2, maybe 3 minutes. And then as soon as that's done, it's going to stop. Okay, so now it looks like our vegetables have cooked sufficiently and our wine has reduced. As you can see, there's hardly any moisture, liquid left. And that is where we want to be. At this point, we just simply turn this off. We're done cooking. Let's bring it over here and then we'll go ahead and add the remaining ingredients. So at this point, like we do with most of our fresh herbs, we add them last. So we add our cup of chopped fresh basil. We're going to put in most of our parsley, not all of it. We're going to save a little bit for garnish. So we're going to put in there probably about a quarter, maybe a quarter cup or thereabouts. Our corn, our roasted corn, I told you I got this a little earlier at one of my specialty stores. Actually, I got this at Trader Joe's, if I may mention the store. They sell it frozen. So just thaw it out and put it in. Then, of course, our potatoes. Yes, what would clam chowder be without potatoes? So let's go ahead and put the rest of our cooked red potatoes that we diced and cooked in a little bit of salt. And then we're pretty much set to go. We're just going to put our, little half and half action here, folks. A little half and half. That's what we want. And along with that, we're going to put in our clam juice. We got about 8 ounces of clam juice. So this is where the clam chowder that we know comes together. Didn't put bacon in this, but not telling you it's totally healthy. But it's not bad. If you want to use whole milk, go ahead. If you want to use skim milk, go ahead. If you use skim milk, this really, folks, really isn't bad. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put this right on, back on, and just heat it through. And then once it's been heated through, then we'll add those clams. That's the very last thing we'll add. Okay? We want to put them now, but we're not going to. And also, that's right, Marit's reminding me that we have to put in that thickening agent. And see, this is how they've come. We've gotten them about like that. So as soon as this heats up, we're going to add that, add the clams at the last minute, and then we'll have our clam chowder ready. Looks like our clam chowder is about ready for us. I was just thinking of my favorite clam chowder. What is your favorite clam chowder? Mine, I think I have 2 places. I have a top 5 list, but I would say the top 2 have got to be the Barking Crab in Boston, and you'll pay a lot of money, so take your credit card or get a loan before you go there for that clam chowder that I think won the best in the world at one time. The other one is Pike Place Chowder in Seattle. That's a great clam chowder, and they actually had entered a contest in Massachusetts and won, so give that a whirl. But this may be number 1. You never know. Let's try this one now. So we're set. We're going to bring it over here. Oh, would you take a look at this? Oh, yeah. Everything's ready. Yeah. I've got the clams in there. I just put them in. We're just heating them through. By the way, this is going to be eaten immediately, but if you're going to save this or eat half of it the next day, only put half the clams in because the clams are just heated through, and that is all. So, here we go. Let's go ahead and bowl some of this up. Yeah, baby. Oh, I'm telling you, this is going to be absolutely awesome. Get some of that good broth in there. Oh, yes. Okay. And then I'm going to top it with some wonderful, some toppings that'll be really good. You're going to love it. You got some fresh lemons? My son Alex picked these in his backyard, brought them over. He was so kind to do it. So we're going to use a little bit of lemon zest. Going to give it a fresh flavor. Not that it needs a fresh flavor with all those wonderful vegetables in there, but oh, man, it just works. It just works. Then, of course, I promised you a little bit of fresh parsley over the top, a little fresh parsley. And then, yes, for those of you watching your figure, a pat of butter, yes. A pat of butter, melting in the top. I'm telling you. And we renamed this. What do we call it?
The garden.
The garden clam chowder. So make this, give it to your friends. I think everybody's going to love it. And by the way, you want to get a hold of us? We're on maninthekitchen.com. That's where you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. And also, we've got a cookbook if you're interested. We can cookbook's got about 300 recipes. You can buy the cookbook there. And also, hey, check out the podcast Don and I are doing. We do a lot of fun stuff. We talk about food and life in general and have a great time. So we will look forward to seeing you next time. Get this recipe on our website, and we'll enjoy seeing you then. Bye-bye.